spiritual medium, channel, and an intuitive life coach, and I want to welcome you to a morning message. And today I have the pleasure of bringing in Leonardo da Vinci, and it's a very exciting moment that he came in. I've never had Leonardo da Vinci come to me energetically before, but the vibration of his energy, there's such a deep sense of groundedness and compassion to his energy. And what was happening is my wife and I were talking about the different states of energy that are available for humans to work with. And we got 5 particular states of energy that we've learned to work with. And Da Vinci said to us that emotion is the energy that humanity must learn to master more than any of the other 4. And all 5 states are solids, liquids, gases, plasma, and emotion. He says emotion is the energy that humanity must master at this time. That we have been struggling with our emotional energy as a species for many thousands of years, and it has resulted in many changes in civilizations that rose and fell. It's resulted in unnecessary conflicts. What most humans have not realized, he said, is that emotion is a power that we are able to direct to funnel into creative processes for creative endeavors. It's what allows us to build cities or create new innovations and transformations and changes. It's the excitement that we feel about the possibilities of experiencing life very differently. He said a lot of the things that he's depicted in many of his writings and teachings, where you see the symbol of 5, where the arms are extended, the legs are extended, the 5 fingers on the hand. He said this represents the 5 key elements that we came into this realm of matter to master. We came in to master these 5 elements of solids, liquids, gases, plasma, and emotion. He also says that emotion, when we learn to master emotion directs and alters the changes in the other 4 levels of energy. So he said, once you understand emotion and how to control it, he said, your creative process in your world today is a direct result of how each and every one of you is harnessing emotion at this time in your creative expression. Your ability to deliberately and intentionally shape and form your emotion into the qualities and quantities of what you want your experience to be is key and central to the creative process of individual humans and as your collective, as your whole. The whole of humanity is working with this energy simultaneously. And you can see all of the different expressions from country to country, from social group to social group, from individual to individual. These differences, these similarities are all products of the way and qualities by which you handle, utilize, create, and change emotional energy. At this time, you are close to what you would call a galactic reset in your planet. Some of you are calling it an ascension process. This has been attempted many times throughout human evolution on this physical plane of consciousness. He says too that one of the failures has been not recognizing that emotion is an element of choice, not chance. Many of the human species still tend to think that emotion is something that is being imposed upon them rather than a creative element or energy that they draw upon to manifest, create, alter, and change time, space, and matter as you understand them to be in this physical dimension. He's saying, I sought to leave trails that when you understand who you are, you can see and be the future. As you saw in many of the works that I did, you saw the very future of things at a time when those things did not exist. And you see them now in the air and in the seas, that these things actually exist. Humanity has the capacity to create its own destiny from the utilization of emotional energy. It's from your use of emotions that you are generating your experience. If you can understand this simple element, then the transformation will be dependent upon your ability to use emotional energy in a different way and consciously more so than you have. I'm just trying to. What then would we need to do to end war on the planet? He's smiling. He's saying war, again, is strictly a manifestation of your use of emotional energy. Many of the human race do not understand how to use emotional energy. Many of you are naive or blind to this fact that you have this energy. Each and every one of you has this emotional energy. You are a gateway, a doorway to this energy to be accessed, utilized, and expressed as meaningful or destructive experiences in your human condition. To understand that each of you can tap into this energy, which is universal in nature and fits into all other forms of energy. It is the directing point. If you can understand this, then you may, as individuals and as a collective, choose which point of emotion you will choose to create your subsequent experiences as individuals and as a species together. If you misuse emotion for a long enough time, and by misuse, I mean to use it specifically as a destructive force, as that which is designed to get you what you want at the expense of others, then you will create another reset, as the whole of creation is, it's like a word like dynamics using, is, I'm trying to work, I'll use the word harmonious. It is designed to work as a unified whole. When it is not working as a unified whole, then the system will operate in conflict to reset itself back to that state of being whole. In terms of civilizations that have risen and fallen throughout history, you can measure the quality and quantity of the emotional state of the individuals and the collective of humanity at those times, and clearly draw a very specific line of why your history has been as it has been, and why you have the opportunity now to utilize consciously as individuals and as a collective emotional qualities that will sustain and manifest conditions that will promote the continued evolution and development of human consciousness on this material plane without the bothersome process of resetting it every time. Your ability to generate states of love and joy and compassion and kindness will extend and prolong the life of your civilizations far greater than will fear or anger or your guilt and shame and your self-judgment of yourself and others. It is important to understand this. The creative environment in which I existed was very small, but because the works that I did were so far beyond what most people could comprehend, I was given space because of the fear that most people had about that which was beyond their own capability to comprehend. Your innovators and creators on this planet, those who are seeking to elevate the capabilities of humanity as a species that can express itself beyond the confines of its physical body, are those that you must turn to now and learn from. Those in the sciences, those in the arts, those that would seek to understand that there's a reality beyond your existing senses that supersedes the world of your senses and is causative to it. If you can understand that simple principle that your emotional energy is causative to your physical conditions, then as a species you would be wise to unite from a perspective of unity and harmony versus a perspective of control and power. You fear to lose the unique expression of your individuality, but you're choosing to preserve your individuality at the expense of the whole functioning effectively together. It is important you understand this number, 5, that there are 5 elements, there are 5 primary races. There are 5 primary places in this solar system that humanity can exist. This number 5 is very important. You have 5 physical senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. But you also have 5 other senses that are not physical. And these will be explained at a later date. But these non-physical senses are designed to govern and pull forth creative energy that allows change to occur in this dimension, the new creative realities that you're experiencing. Whether that be in the sciences or in your social orders. as a species, humanity has not yet reached that place of a high social order, which is one of the reasons why there is so little communication with other species that do not exist here. They came in my time, they came to me in my time, and they told me that we are not ready. We are not ready, for we do not know how to control our emotions as a species nor as individuals. This is the focus that must take the world stage, and you have created the conditions in which you can do this. Many of you think you are in isolation and separation by this condition that you've manifested through your emotional use of that energy. He's meaning the use of emotional energy. We've created this condition that we're in right now of the COVID-19. And he says, indeed, all sickness and disease is a manifestation of emotional conditions that pre-existed before the condition became manifested to your senses. So you must understand that sequence of cause and effect. But you have created these conditions not to be separate from one another, but to be mindful of your own emotional states. Recognize that what is happening in your world today is an effect of your collective use of this fifth state of energy called emotion. And this is an element in your awareness that everyone knows. Everyone knows of this stuff called emotion, but very few of you understand how to use it correctly or properly, or even know that you can shape and form it. For all of your emotions give shape and form to human expressions in this physical realm. It is the non-physical causing the physical. When you understand this, then you will open up to not being subjective to emotional conditions that would not support your well-being or the well-being of your others. The polarity of emotions is important to understand. For like a child learning to walk, if you understand the distinction between fear and the distinction between love, you will know which one is life-sustaining and which is life-draining. If you choose that which is life-sustaining, the expression that you will see on your planet will be significantly different than the one that was in my time on this planet, where there was great control and fear and uncertainty, great damage and destruction to many races within themselves and amongst each other. It is why it took so long for a civilization such as yours to re-evolve. There had to be an emotional stability that evolved in the consciousness of your leadership. But the emotional evolution of your leaders must also be imparted to all other members of society. The reality that all members of your society, whether you are a leader or a child or an adult, whether you are a worker, whether you are a scientist or a doctor, each and every one of you plays a role in the emotional manifestation of the conditions that you see existing in your physical world at this time. And I merely came today to bring to your attention this fifth state of energy that all of you must now learn to consciously and deliberately use in effective ways that will sustain your life and assure you of a future that you cannot see until you can feel it. The conditions in your material world, whether it be the conditions that exist between the planets electromagnetically, or whether it be the conditions that exist within your social structures, all of these are dependent upon the dominant emotional state that is prevalent through the collectiveness of your being, through all of humanity. This was on such a small scale. In my time, there were only very few of us who understood the value in holding on to and utilizing emotional energy correctly and creatively. But now you have 7 billion of you here. 7 billion of you, all using this energy consciously and unconsciously, correctly and incorrectly. It is time now to impart the knowledge of emotion and energy onto all members of society, to realize that certain emotions will create extended growth beyond years you can imagine. You can manifest a civilization based on love that will last many millennium. And this has been done before. on this physical dimension. But it's important to understand that at a level of intensity, that every single soul that exists on this dimension is deliberately and unconsciously influencing the conditions that you call your experience. But you have this opportunity, each and every one of you, to learn to control this energy called emotion, which creates your physical conditions. You must learn to release your subjectivity to the external world. You must learn to master what it is you wish to give life to in your world. Indeed, whatever you give attention to, you are giving life to. And I simply came here to remind you of that opportunity that now faces each and every one of you in the solitude of your own mind, in the gathering of your own unique race within the human family. You have the opportunity to unite either in fear or love now. Each will produce very different results, not only on this physical planet, but in how your consciousness interacts with all other things in this solar system and beyond. You must understand that emotion is an inseparable blanket that joins all deliciously in the warmth of infinite intelligence. Learn to focus on the emotional energies that will be most conducive to the state you wish your physical world to be in. He's stepping back now. He's starting to fade away a bit. Is there anything else? He's just saying, remember this: solid, liquid, gas, plasma, emotion. There is an order to these things. One is greater than the other, but all must work together. And they do, whether you know it or not. This is all. Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much for tuning in this. Please leave your questions and comments in the comment section below this. Yeah, if you can learn to communicate with these beings. They're here for all of us right now. I mean, he just came in as we sat down to start to talk about something. But these beings are available to all of us. Their wisdom and their knowledge spans millennia. I mean, Leonardo da Vinci, he existed 400 or 500 years ago, and that knowledge that he has is within us to access. It's within you to access. You've got angels, you've got divine beings around you right now, that if you can open your spiritual ears and your spiritual eyes, you can see and hear. And the goal of the work that we're doing is to bring awareness to this truth, so that humanity doesn't have to struggle on its own anymore, but can avail itself of the wisdom of beings that are far more advanced than us, that have been here and done this and mastered it. And of a truth, I know from my own experience that our emotion causes our behavior. And so what we see in the world is how we're feeling in our hearts. So I think we should take this opportunity with this whole COVID-19. It really is an opportunity to become the masters of our fear, to become creators of love. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. And much love to all of you, and I will see you soon.